the two different paths that you can choose to go down. So which one you decide to go down is entirely up to you. But what I'm going to do in today's episode is explain what each one is and why you have to be very, very careful which one you choose to go down, because you can end up wasting years and years of your time and a lot of money. So let's discuss. So the two different paths that you have the option of choosing to go down. So exactly what does that mean? Well, the two paths are, number one is just making money, or number two, building a real business where you're serving your customers and creating solutions to your customers' problems. So making money or building a real business. So which one do you choose? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me. So over the course of this episode, by the end of the episode, you're going to know exactly what to do and what not to do. So you might be wondering, well, Paul, exactly what do you mean? Because making money is obviously important. So why would I not want to make money? Well, of course you want to make money. However, when you first come to the internet and you start to research and you start to try to learn how to make money and how to get traffic and how to make commissions and how to get money in your bank account, you go down the rabbit hole and you start trying everything and anything. And that's exactly what happened to me. Back in 2008 was when I first started all of this stuff, all of this internet online thing. And I went down the rabbit hole of trying lots of different methods and techniques. Google AdWords, blogging, CPA, free traffic, affiliate marketing, PLR, sales funnels, product launching. I tried to write articles for people, online poker, you name it, I tried it. I tried everything. So I'd done all of this for many, many months. But I went down the rabbit hole of just trying to make money. So I was in the complete wrong mindset. I was constantly just trying to make money all the time. And if you're in the same situation as I was, and many people are in this situation, many people fall into this trap. So don't panic right now if you're sat there thinking, well, yeah, I'm kind of trying to do that as well. Well, there is a solution, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to start to focus on. So making money is obviously important. And this is what I did. I got involved in just trying to make money. In fact, the way it all started for me was back in 2008. March 2008 was when I made my first $20 on the internet. And from March 2008, I tried to make more money. I tried all these different things. But I was constantly trying to make money. I wasn't focused on actually building anything for the future. All I wanted was money in my bank account. So it's very, very difficult to make money if you're in that type of mindset, because it's almost as if you're in like a desperate mindset. And what happens is you get manipulated. You start to see these big fancy flashy sales pages and people promise you that you can make some money in the next couple of days or the next couple of hours. So you buy the product for like $27 or $97 or even $1,000. I bought into a few different programs back in 2008 and it cost me a lot of money. So I spent, a good few grand over the first sort of 6 months, and I know a lot of people do. And unfortunately, this is just sometimes part of like the learning experience. But hopefully you haven't spent that much. But if you have, then, don't worry, because after watching today's episode, you're going to know exactly the way forward and what you have to be aware of. So making money is what I was focused on. And yes, I did actually make a little bit of money. I made a little bit of money with some MLM, with some affiliate programs. I did make a little bit of money, but I didn't really make that much progress. In fact, from 2008 to 2013, for that 5 years, that was when I was just trying lots of different business opportunities, affiliate marketing. I went from one thing to the next, and this is what I did for a number of years. Now, yes, I made a bit of money, but I was in the complete wrong mindset. I was trying to get fast money, fast riches. I was always trying to get quick results, fast results. Now, let's just change to building a real business. So for that 5 years for me, I was just wasting a lot of time because I wasn't actually building anything for the future. Now versus building a real business. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, Paul, yeah, I just want to make some money. Yes, I know making money is very, very important, but you have to get into the mindset of building a real business, because this is where you're going to get recurring profits. You're going to get a much more stable income as well, because you're building something for the future and you're building a real audience with real problems where you can create real solutions for those people that follow along to your stuff. So this is something that I learned many years ago, but I didn't learn that for like at least 5 or 6 years. So I wasted 5 or 6 years thinking to myself that I could just get by making money. And in fact, one of the main ways that I made money was from niche sites. You might know my story. 2010 was when I first started seeing some good results with niche sites. So I used to build niche sites, make money from Google AdSense and the Amazon affiliate program from small niche sites that I used to build and get free traffic from Google. And back in 2010 up to about 2013, this was really big. A lot of people were doing it. People still are doing it now, but it's a lot more complex than it used to be. You used to be able to get faster free traffic, and you could set these little sites up quite quickly and get some traffic really quickly. But things have changed now. It's still a good model to use, but I was focused on making money. Now you can of course go out there and do what I did back then, but what I'm going to tell you in today's episode is going to be a much more robust and a much more profitable model than doing anything like that. So I did all of this for many years, and up to about 2012, 2013, I was just trying to make money. It wasn't until about 2013, 2014 that I shifted my focus and I started to build more of a business. It still wasn't exactly what I have now, but I did start to sort of mature a little bit, and I started to build a real business with like products and customers, subscribers, and I had email lists. So what you need to seriously consider and focus on, and in fact you can do this right now. So think to yourself right now, what are you actually focused on? Are you focused on just making some money? If you are, you need to snap out of that really, really quickly, because what's going to happen is you're just going to be manipulated for many, many years to come. Now, of course, making money is important, but you have to shift your mindset to you want to create solutions to problems, because this is what you're going to be as an online entrepreneur. You're going to be a problem solver. And when you start to solve problems, that is when you make money, and you can make a hell of a lot more than you can if you just focus on making a few bucks here and there on commissions and making some sales in this program and this program. So there's two different paths. So have a little think to yourself right now. You can leave a comment in it if you like, and just let me know what you think, what path you're currently on. Are you on the path of just wanting to make some money and you just want to get some money in your bank? And I know that's important, but you have to snap out of it. You really do. Because if you stay in that mindset, it's going to take you much, much longer to actually progress and succeed, because you're not going to be in the right frame of mind. This is what a lot of people suffer from. And what I'm telling you in today's episode is something that I know a lot of people suffer from. A lot of my subscribers, a lot of my own customers do suffer from it. Some people are going through this right now, probably millions. But you have to be able to identify the difference between making money on these programs and stop being a money-making opportunist and start looking at the internet as a real business, and start thinking to yourself, well, how can I create online assets that will continue to pay me for many, many years to come? And this is the hard part. This is the hard part, because unfortunately it comes down to experience, but I'm not going to tell you what to do, so don't panic. But this is the hard part, and it took me I would say, a decade to kind of figure this out. And even after a decade, I was still making changes in my business for a number of years. So making money is obviously important. You can, do all these different things and you can set up different things to make money, but you're not building a real business. Remember what I said, you need to be serving customers and creating solutions for people's problems. And it doesn't matter what niche you go into or what market. You could be in the health and fitness industry where you're creating solutions to people's problems where they can't lose weight. So you're creating recipes and diets and workout routines because people can't get in shape. This is the problem that you're solving, and people are prepared to pay you if you can solve their problem. So that's just one example in that particular market, but there's lots and lots of niches out there. Like another example is you might be in the DIY niche or market where you're able to help people to get better at household DIY. I mean, that's just a quick example, but there's thousands of different examples that I can give you. So when you start to serve people and you start to offer real solutions to people's real problems, that is when you have a bit of a business. But it doesn't stop there, because there's one more thing that you need. So you, of course, need an audience. Now, you might be able to create solutions to people's problems, but you need an audience in order for people to listen to you and in order for you to be taken seriously. Otherwise, anything you say will go out onto the internet, but no one's going to care. No one's ever going to listen because you don't have an audience. No one's actually engaged in what you say. And this is the part that takes longer. And this is why I say to you, this is not very sexy. It's not very exciting to actually do. Whereas if someone says to you, look, this is how you can make money. I'm going to show you how to make money in the next 24 hours. You get suckered in and people pull you in because they're going to teach you how to make money and make sales. But as much as that sounds appealing, you need to be focused on building a real business, learning the skills that are going to allow you to expand your business. Things like how to build a sales funnel, how to make a product, email marketing, how to launch a product to your audience, how to build an audience, how to get traffic. You see, these are all building blocks that you need to start a successful internet-based business. If you're in the mindset of just wanting to make money, you're constantly going to be jumping around from opportunity to opportunity, to method to method to method, to model to model to model. And a lot of these can work if you adopt the right mindset within that model where you're actually building a real business. So yeah, you can build a business, but a lot of the things that you learn, especially as a newbie and a beginner, and when you first get started, and this also applies to people that have been on the internet for a long time trying to learn this stuff. Maybe you've been around for a long time and you still kind of can't figure it out. Well, I'm telling you now, there's two different paths that you can choose to go down. You can either choose making money and going from thing to thing to thing, or you can go down the road of, I want to create a real sustainable business where I can serve people. And once you adopt that mindset, the problem you will then have is what niche to go into and how to build an audience. But those are real problems that you can solve quite easily. You just have to learn and obviously educate yourself in the different strategies and models that you can use in order to do that. And I am currently giving away some free training on that. So if you want to go and get that, you can go through my bootcamp, coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp, and you can learn a lot more. I teach you how to build a business in the next 30 days. But this is what you have to do. You have to reframe how you look at things. So you have to completely change the way you look at things and how you think about this online thing. You can't keep going down the road of you just want to make money, because there's another 50 things beyond that that you have to do to make money. Making money, you can't just pluck money out of thin air. If you want to make money on the internet, the money has to come from somewhere and you have to get traffic. No one is just suddenly going to send you 10,000 people to your affiliate link. It's not going to happen. Now, if you can get thousands and thousands of people a day to your affiliate links for free, yes, you can make some money, but that still isn't a business. That still is not a business. Again, this is what you have to do. You have to completely shift your mindset and change how you look at things. And only when I did this back in about 2017, this was like 8 or 9 years ago, that was when things really started to change for me. So if we fast forward now up to about 2020, so 5 years ago was when I had another huge change in my business. So from 2020, I had a bit of I would say I kind of felt a bit burned out. I'd been hammering my business for years, working hard. I made some quite good money for a number of years, but 2020, when COVID happened, I just felt completely burned out and I needed to just have some time off. And it was only then when I actually realized that I needed a shift in my business. So from about 2021, 2022, so about three and a half years ago, that was when I made another change in my business. So I've done all the hard work for you. I've gone through all of these different parts over the last 18 years of doing this internet stuff. I initially went down the rabbit hole of trying to make money. It worked to a degree. I made a bit of money, but you're never going to be able to make enough money to truly be able to quit your job, work from anywhere in the world and not worry about having to pay your bills, because the money that I was making just wasn't sustainable. It wasn't good enough. You need a much more robust system in place before you're able to start traveling around and relying on your online income to pay your mortgage, to pay your bills, to put food on your table. And this is the most important thing. So this was 2008 when I first got started. I didn't truly work things out until 2021. So it took me 13 years to really figure things out, because I went down the rabbit hole initially, like I said, for 4 to 5 years. 2013, I started to make a bit more money and build products, but I still didn't have the correct things in place in my business. I was building email lists, selling products, helping people to solve their problems, but I still wasn't that happy. And it took me up until about 2021, like 4 to 5 years ago, to truly figure out my direction that I wanted to go in. And this is what I'm saying to you. So the mistakes that I learned in the past, use everything that I've told you, because I've made the mistakes. So this is how you can save over a decade of like trial and error, because many people, and I don't know your particular situation, but maybe you've been testing things and trying things out for a number of years and you still haven't got to the bottom of like how this thing really works and why you're not seeing results. Well, I'll tell you, it's because you need to be focused on creating real solutions for real problems. Not only that though, and I did say this earlier, you need an audience. So you need to be focused on those two things, and an audience comes first. Yes, you can have a great solution to a problem, but if no one is seeing your stuff and if no one is actually interested in your message, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good your message is or how good your solution is. No one's going to be interested. And this is just how it works. This is the truth. So there's two paths, making money or building a business. So you can choose whichever path you want. But I'm telling you, I went down the path of making money for a number of years and I didn't truly work things out until 2021. And although I'd made a lot of money by then, I'd made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, by 2021, I had like 6 or 7 years where I was really killing it as an affiliate and as a product owner, and I launched products. However, I still didn't have the correct things in place that I needed in order to really grow much, much bigger and have a much more robust business. And this is what I'm telling you right now. So you need to be focused on building a business and also creating solutions to your customers' problems. And I'll say it again, you need an audience. And this is why you need to identify where you're trying to get to, and then you work back from there. So if you want a real business, you need to then decide what market or niche you want to go into. And then once you decide what market or niche you want to go into, you need to then decide how you're going to create an audience in order to get people interested in your stuff. So it's no good you just thinking about money. The money will come, but you have to adopt a different mindset before you start to make the good money. And yes, you can do what I did, just play around with a few different things. You could maybe write some articles and be a writer, be a graphic designer, make a little bit of money here and there. And yes, you can make a little bit of money by doing some of those things. But if you well and truly want to build something that you can rely on to pay the bills, feed your family, travel around your country, travel around the world, so you're able to run a real business, then you need all of these elements in place. You need traffic, you need solutions to problems, i.e. products, and you need an audience. And the only way you start to learn all of these different things, like how to do all of that, is by self-education. And this is why the information and education industry is worth so much money, because anything you want to learn is out there. It's online. Some of it is paid, some of it is free, some of it is very expensive. But you can also learn many things for free as well on YouTube and podcasts and video tutorials, and obviously videos like this. You can pick up a lot of golden nuggets, a lot of really good, powerful tips and strategies that you can implement in your own business. But you have to adopt the right mindset. So making money versus building a real business. So those are the two different rabbit holes that you can go down. Now, what one are you going to choose to go down? That's entirely up to you, but I've told you exactly how it works. This is what happened to me over the course of from 2008 until 2020, 2021. So what's that, 12 over 12 years? It took me over 12 years to figure this stuff out. And it wasn't, as I said, until about 2021 that I truly worked out what my actual direction needed to be. So over the last few years, I've been focused on creating a system which allows you to leverage time in the most effective way. As I said, if you want to learn more about how to build a real business and start generating sales and profits in the next 30 days, just go over to coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. If you're listening to this on my podcast, then that's where you have to go. Otherwise, there will be a link below this video, or even below this podcast. There'll be a link that you can click where you can go over and grab the free training. And that will help you, and that will fast track your knowledge to how to actually create the system that I now have in my own business. But that's exactly what you need to be aware of. So hopefully this has helped you. Leave a comment and let me know what situation you're currently in and where you are in your business. Have you gone down the rabbit hole of trying to make some money, but you're not sure where to go from now? Or perhaps you've started to build a business, but you're still unsure about how to do certain things, because there are things you need to learn. It's not just a case of you can just create a business like that. You need to learn skills. There's many different skills you need to learn, but you don't need all of them to make a start. But you do need to create content, and you do need to find an audience that are interested in your message and your stuff. Again, you don't need millions of people. You just need a few thousands. You can build a really good business on a few thousand people that are really engaged in what you say. So don't think that you need 10 million people to be following you around the internet. You don't. You could just have a few thousands. And in the scheme of things, it really isn't a lot, is it? A few thousand people, 5,000 people, you know. out of like all of the hundreds of millions of people out there, 5,000 loyal customers. You don't need millions and millions of people. Whether you've got 1,000 or 50,000, you don't need millions and millions of people to follow you around, because a lot of these people will just watch your stuff and consume your information. I mean, you might be watching my stuff and you might then go away and watch someone else's stuff and watch more podcasts and videos, and that's absolutely fine. This is why I put this information out there. But there will be an element of people, there will be a certain percentage of people that watch your stuff that will want to learn more. And this is how you build the audience, and people will start to follow you around, and you'll build a loyal following of people that really are engaged in your stuff. So just remember, you've got making money or building a business. It's up to you what you do. Take what I've given you today however you like. You can start to build a real business, or you can continue down a path that you're already on. If you want to do what I done and just learn or make the mistakes on your own and then learn on your own terms, and this is what I did, but I will be honest with you, it's very, very painful. It takes much longer. So what I've told you today will save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of pain. Trust me, I've been there, and I've been down the rabbit hole, and although I made a lot of money for many years, I still look back now and I was still doing things wrong. So thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Take care.